Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of GRHRA's Ignite HR Hot Seat. And today we're conducting one of our Meet the Board segments, and we are excited to have Leanne Dyes, HR Director of Russell, joining us this morning. So Leanne, how are you doing this morning?
I'm great, Matt. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Good.
For our listeners, and Leanne is a former president of GRHRA, which a couple of years ago was the president. And today we're going to be asking her a few questions in the hot seat. And Leanne, are you prepared to participate with the hot seat questions I have for you this morning?
I was born ready.
All right, that's what I like to hear. So the first question I have for you, what are significant accomplishments that you celebrate from your time as president of GRHRA? And what excites you most now currently and as you look towards the future?
Yeah, it's hard to believe that it's been 2 years since I served as a president with GRHRA. So when I think back to my time as president, I would say probably two of the biggest accomplishments would be first, fully transitioning to a 100% SHRM chapter. That was after, my predecessor, Lori Flanagan, had
Yes.
spent a lot of time really getting us to that space, but we officially became a 100% chapter back in 2022. And then also transitioning to dual member release or DMR. Our participation in both of those efforts have really, I think, enabled Great River to do some things for our members that we may not have been able to do before.
Yep. We're a large chapter now because of that. So
Yeah,
we're just
yeah,
keep
we are.
growing due to your efforts.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, definitely due to the efforts of the board. I just had the opportunity of leading it. So
yeah.
it was a great group to work with.
Yeah, you definitely steered the ship there, and we're reaping the rewards for that. So, Leanne, next question. Russell is very well respected and successful in the Midwest. Could you share what resources you rely on from SHRM to better assist yourself and your HR business partners?
Yeah, I really appreciate that recognition, Matt. I feel very privileged and honored to be able to work at Russell and have the opportunity to lead our team members each and every day. I would say that some of SHRM's resources that I leverage most frequently would include the job description templates. Those have been really helpful as we have reviewed our job descriptions and spent some time refreshing what those would look like. But in addition, just I've been very impressed and appreciate the news articles that SHRM shares. They're very up to date, so they help me to stay current. There are many times I'll pass articles along to team members here within Russell as well. So the job description templates and the different forms of news sharing, either through the articles or the webcasts, have been some of the tools that have been most instrumental. But then also just the opportunity to network and connect with other SHRM members here locally through Great River. Being able to share experiences and get ideas and hear how other HR professionals are leading HR in their organizations has definitely been a benefit that I think is really hard to replace.
Oh yeah, that's what I've appreciated most on being on the board with Great River, is just seeing the openness and willingness of members to just share what they know, even if they were a competing organization. They're just wanting to help, and that's
Mhm.
what's so beautiful about it.
Mhm.
So next question I have for you, and on a lighter side, as I've seen firsthand, you know the name of every single song and every single band that was playing when we did music bingo a while back. So with that, what is the top three bands that you are listening to right now?
Oh, yeah. I just can't believe you're only letting me pick three, but
Or 100 then.
we don't have time for that. We don't have
Oh,
time for that. But I've always been a fan of pop culture and always a fan of music. I do enjoy many different genres of music, but I will say 90s and 2000s hip hop really holds a special place in my heart. With the Super Bowl coming up next weekend, Usher, I've been really reconnecting with my love and appreciation for Usher's
yeah.
music in preparation for the Super Bowl. I've also, just kind of funny, I've become more of a Swiftie than I
Oh,
have in years past. So I've been definitely listening to more of Taylor Swift's music. And while not an artist in particular, I have been listening to a couple of songs from the Barbie soundtrack. So there's a song by Dua Lipa and Billie Eilish. They both have songs on that soundtrack, and I've really enjoyed listening to those.
Yeah, yeah, I was very impressed when we did the music bingo on the depth of your knowledge there. I remember it wasn't this music bingo, but it was one several years prior where an HR director invited me to participate on it, and I was on their team, and the only song that I got right was Hanson's and Bop. So they just all looked at me and they're like, the only song you know is Hanson's and Bop. So I wasn't very valuable to that team.
Oh, you know, I'm not really great at trivia, but that musical bingo was a lot of fun, and I was actually kind of surprised about how many of the songs that I knew.
Oh,
So,
I've heard all the songs. I just don't remember the name of the band and all of that. So last question I have for you, Leanne, and as I understand, you recently implemented a change to your HRS at Russell. What advice would you have to someone that, let's say, may newly be jumping into evaluating HRS on what you have learned that could set them up for success in that experience?
Yeah, I really love this question, and I appreciate you asking it. So I started at Russell in March of 2022. So I've been here almost 2 years. And even before I began, the organization was having conversations about switching over to a new HRIS system. The system we had in place was going to be going away, so we needed to make some decisions. And they were really looking for a solution that would integrate both payroll and HR, because at the time, both systems ran separately. And so there was a lot of manual work to have to make sure updates captured in one would update in the other. You know, my guidance would be just to be flexible with the project timeline if you can.
Yeah.
And when I say that, it's, you know, one of the lessons I've learned is it's a huge undertaking, and I've been involved in 2 new software implementations, and in my experience, they've always taken more time than we anticipate. So when you meet with the sales folks, they may say, you know, 12 weeks for implementation, but by the time you build in enough time for testing, and then, you know, you can test as much as you want, but by the time you go live, you really don't know how the system's going to function until you are actually live. So dedicating more time than you may think for testing up front, but then also giving yourself and your organization grace after you do go live to recognize that there are going to be things that you miss. I think that's completely normal and completely natural for that to happen, but just building in more time, either on the front end or the back end or both, to be able to have the time you need to make sure the system is going to work the way you want it to, would be my biggest piece of advice.
Yeah, if someone told me 12 weeks, I'm actually hearing it as 18 weeks is what I'm hearing there.
Yeah, and then I've heard, and we're noticing that as well. We went live in June of 2023, and someone had said to us, you know, it really takes a year after full implementation to be able to feel comfortable and confident. And we're about 9 months in, and we're still learning every day. I mean, the system we decided to go with is huge, and so we're learning new tips and tricks every single day. But I believe that having that time after go live to just get comfortable is definitely a piece of that.
Yeah, so basically a year from now, you'll be able to give a seminar on all of this, right?
I wouldn't go that far, but
Yeah.
I'd
Well,
like to be able to. I'd like to be able to.
yeah. Well, Leanne, thank you for participating in the hot seat questions today. And for those who are listening, if you want to learn more about our board members or GRHRA, simply go to www.grhra.org. And Leanne, I hope you have a wonderful week. All right.
You too, Matt. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everyone.